Welcome, everybody, back to A Kiss Like Yours. How is everybody doing this awesome Sunday morning?
We're good.
If this is your first time tuning into A Kiss Like Yours, welcome. If this is not your first time, welcome back.
And thanks for coming back.
Thanks for coming back. We have a special guest for you today, Steve Castro from our new sponsor, ProTax Associates.
Steve is in the house. Nobody cover your ears or stop listening because we have the tax guy in the house, okay?
Taxes.
This is going to be beneficial for you.
We're talking finance. We're talking taxes. We are talking all kinds of things that are going to help you this new tax season, going over some changes, some things that you should be doing, some things you shouldn't be doing. I don't know. We'll kind of see where it goes, you know?
Yep.
But we have Steve here. Again, he's our new sponsor. We want to thank you for the opportunity to work with ProTax Associates.
You're welcome. Happy to be here.
Yes, we have been customers for ProTax for quite a while.
Clients, I like to call them clients.
Okay, clients. Let's call them clients. We've been clients of ProTax for a couple of years now. I want to say 7-8 years, somewhere around there.
Well, you first before Lila.
Yeah. So do myself. Yeah.
Yep,
so
yep.
He convinced you to come.
it's been great because we've kind of gone over past podcasts. You know, my finances are not. I don't have the great financial awareness that I did when I first bought the home. I wasn't paying my property taxes and all kinds of stuff.
I don't know if you heard that episode. It was in the money episode.
It was in the
wasn't
money.
it?
I think so.
Yes, I think we did.
So it was nuts, man, back in the day. But we've gotten tightened up now. But
yes, thankfully.
So tax season is upon us, and the W-2s are starting to roll in, right?
Yeah. They're supposed to be here by January 31st, but all these companies are so automated nowadays that there's a lot of them out there already.
Right.
Yeah, I think yours should be in. Usually yours is in like by the 20th, I think. But now we don't get anything paper anymore.
Right.
I am reliant on Artie 100% for these necessary documents, and I have to say it is not his strong point, but thankfully, because the times when he needs to handle this type of stuff is so far and few between that like he's clutch when it matters. But he's not in charge of anything, any type of
Finances.
monthly responsibility, because
Hey.
we've already been we went down that road.
Yeah,
we see how he handles that.
That's a good thing.
Relationship wise, you know, you want to have somebody to fill your weaknesses, and I have my strengths that fill her weaknesses. So
Correct.
it works well in our particular case.
It works well in every relationship. Let me just start off with a joke that's kind of true.
Sure.
Boys don't get a brain until they're 25 years old.
That's pretty close to when I started paying my property taxes.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Wise man here. Wise man.
So yeah, I did get my W-2 in email form.
Mhm.
So now I'm able to access them, print them out, and head over to.
Yep. And this week is going to be all prep for us because we're going to see you next week. We'll be
Yes.
in with you next week. So this week is getting everything squared away. So all
That-
right, enough fun stuff.
Enough fun. Let's talk about Steve. How did you kind of get started with ProTax and the story kind of behind the logo, the
Sure.
name, everything.
Everything.
All right. So I was working for the city of Los Angeles collecting taxes. I must have been 21 or so. Those were business taxes for the city.
Okay.
An auditor came by and said, hey, the state of California is hiring, and they specifically want Latinos.
Oh,
They said that. I said, okay. So, I went to take the test.
Mhm.
I was hired on with the Franchise Tax Board.
Wow.
And that is, as a collector, collecting taxes. The Franchise Tax Board is the state, and then, of course, the IRS is
Yeah.
It's the
is
Federal.
Federal, right.
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So they taught me the business, right? As I was collecting taxes and doing bad things to people who didn't comply, all of 21, 22 years old. That was a little powerful at the time, but then I realized right away, I got a brain at 25.
There you go.
Mhm. It fully developed at that
It
point.
fully developed. I didn't want to do that stuff. My wife was working for Edison, and the main thing that happened was here I was doing taxes for family off to the side,
Okay.
no real license, but I knew what I was doing.
Mhm.
And somebody caught me at it. One of the employees at the Franchise Tax Board
Okay.
said, Steve, that's a conflict of interest. You can't do that, not even for your family. I said, okay, I did not know. So I didn't.
Yeah.
But my wife convinced me to go apply to Southern California Edison to work.
Okay.
Got hired there, at which time I opened the tax business. Got my license, my state of California license to do taxes. That was in 1987.
Wow.
Nice.
So you had a full-time job.
Years. I had a full-time job.
And then you opened your business on the side. So would you work that
Right.
just weekends, nights and weekends? How did that work?
Nights and weekends, but you have to get a certain amount of trust from people
Right.
so that they could bring their taxes to you. So I started with like 10 clients.
10 clients.
It was small, and it's just grown tremendously from there.
Wow. And
That's
how many do you think you service now?
You want to know?
Mhm.
Really?
Yeah, because I know how impossible I make our appointment when we leave for
Yeah.
next year because I know
Good
how
idea.
impossible it is
Yeah.
to get in with you.
Yeah.
It's 2,400 clients.
Wow. Servicing 24 and how many years now?
30. This is our 33rd year.
Awesome.
Wow.
And now let's be clear, I have help with that because
Yeah,
of
course,
it's,
yeah.
it's a family business, and
Mhm.
the other preparers are also there. There's a total of 4 of us.
The associates part.
The associates, the associates
The
part.
pro and the associates.
So it was cool. I wasn't collecting taxes anymore from people. I was servicing people, helping people do taxes
Right.
or prepare their taxes for them. All along trying to educate who I can about this and that,
Yeah.
and financial things.
Yeah.
Never being overbearing at all, but if they ask a question of me, they're going to get the answer.
And that's
Yes.
important because a lot of times people need to hear that. So tell me, when you were working for the city of LA, what was your best fight with someone that you had to collect on, or maybe a business that hadn't been paying taxes? Or tell me.
We want to scoop
What was
these.
the best throwdown of your LA
Okay.
days?
Actually, there weren't any there because when you're collecting business taxes, everybody is a business, right? They have a different mindset. They want to pay their taxes. They want to stay in the good
Compliance,
graces,
yeah.
in compliance, in the good graces of them. So luckily, I didn't. We had these bills. We sent them out, and they paid them. So while others may have had some fights, like auditors may have
Okay.
had some fights,
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't have any. To be honest, I
Oh
didn't have
man,
any
we got to
fights.
get them.
No LA fight stories. Come on, Steve.
No, but when I went to the franchise tax board collecting state taxes, I was in the field.
Oh, okay.
And so the field was rough
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes I was in places, let's not name any
Yeah.
gardens, but there was places that I went into during the daytime. Luckily, it was 10 a.m. and
Right.
and maybe the gang members were sleeping. But
Right.
yeah, I was in the field.
You were in some rough spots.
rough spots.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not everybody gets in fights, honey.
Hey,
Just you.
When you live in LA, you do. Where did you grow up, Steve?
Los Angeles by General Hospital. Then we moved into the El Sereno area.
Oh,
There we
okay.
go, yeah.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, right down the hill from the Wilson High School. So
Oh, yeah, not too far. Rivals. I went to Franklin High School.
Franklin, that was a big rival.
My dad's home is in Eagle Rock, and his business is in Highland Park. So we spent a lot of time in both. That's our
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
Right. So your ProTax Associates, you have other people helping you out, bilingual people, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You have a bunch of experience with those different areas, those
Mhm.
different industries. Can you speak to maybe a couple of what are your biggest clients, the industry you service the most, and then maybe one that that you find that need to be particular about what they are capturing as far as their taxes, like an industry that maybe can help, that has some opportunity to
strengthen what they do.
to strengthen what
Yes.
they do to help with
Prepare
their taxes.
themselves.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah, there's a brand new law in California called AB5, and we won't go through it except that there's a lot of people that must comply with that new law. And so there's a lot of people who have to form S corporations or just another entity like an LLC
Mhm.
or a sole proprietorship, but it's just not the same. It has to do with employment taxes.
Okay.
So some of the biggest clients I have are court reporters that are having to adhere to that. There's point of service type businesses, the ones that service the Taco Bells with their cash registers. And that
Yes,
kind
Oh,
of
yes.
thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Those
Those are big.
Those machines. Mhm.
We do, though, like to call ourselves, a mom and pop shop where we're just helping, excuse the expression, the little guy,
Yeah.
the
working-
people the working
The
class.
working class, yeah.
American.
The middle class, yes, because we're so fair on fees. We don't want to try to rip off anyone or charge them $800 for their S corp.
Yeah.
We
Mhm.
just really enjoy helping everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's middle class.
And nobody teaches this stuff in school.
Right.
Like you don't before you graduate high school, they don't tell you how to do this stuff, what you need to look out for. Maybe in business school, I started to, when I was in business school, that's when you start to learn about the corporations, LLC, sole proprietorship, all those good things for business, ownership and those kinds of things. But for the regular, 9 to 5, us that we are, nobody teaches us how and what. When I first filled out my tax form, and they ask you for the dependents, I'm like, I freaked out. I'm like, what is this? Like, I don't have any dependents. Like, what am I supposed to put here?
Yep.
I didn't put anything.
I think my first year when I filed taxes at 18, I got in trouble because I got a phone call. Apparently, my mom had claimed me as a dependent, but I had been working, all this time and on my own. And I got this paperwork, and I don't even remember who told me to go file my taxes. And I was like, oh, okay. And I went to H&R Block in the Eagle Rock Plaza.
There you go.
Right.
There you go.
To go do that. And then I remember getting a phone call about something, or you had done something wrong, or how could you do that? And I'm like, why am I getting in trouble? I don't understand. I did everything I was told to do.
I just went to work and got a check. That's it.
Yeah, my first tax filing was a total mess.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mom. No, I'm kidding.
And to answer your question a little more, who needs help? Well, the good thing is that we're there all year to help them get ready to file their return when it becomes more complicated. So we're there all the time. I'm kind of retired from Edison, of course. I've been retired for 10 years from Edison.
Yeah.
So I'm there about 2 or 3 times a week in the off season. So we're readily available to people.
Absolutely.
Because this new law that I mentioned is something that a lot of people are going to be affected. A lot of my clients.
Oh,
A lot of my clients. So we're educating all the time. And they love to be educated, it seems. I have a lot of good people who listen for the most part.
Right.
No judging if they don't listen. No judging.
Hey, this is advice, right?
Yeah, and when they come into
guidance
to their appointment, I get one shot at them. A lot of them just once a year. When they come into their appointment and they haven't done what I've told them to do, there's still no judgment. It's it's their priorities, it's their life.
Yeah, they're
exactly.
kind of thing. So
you're just doing what you feel is on your heart to help.
Yes.
And educate, and at that point, you can't do anything more.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So I heard a myth that I want to kind of run by you. And it has to do kind of with what I was talking about with the dependents.
Yeah.
So the dependency, you get to claim your certain number of dependents, and that kind of equates to how much money is being taken in the form of taxes and deducted from the form of taxes. If I claim 5 and it's just me and my wife, is that a tax strategy, or is that actually like illegal to do?
It's not illegal to do. At your job, you can claim 9 if you like. If you feel like you're not going to be in trouble come tax time where you're going to owe a large
You're going to owe, right.
And in fact, I wrote that down. I would like to talk about that a little bit later as far as the planning that we do.
Okay.
So no, if you claim 5 and there are only 2 of you, there may be a chance that you're going to owe because you didn't have enough, an adequate amount. Yeah. So it's not a myth. You can do what you want, but then you do pay the price.
Right.
In the end.
Again, one of the things we do is get that down exactly to the nubs to what you should pay at your job.
Okay.
And it's a budgetary thing that one of the things I wrote down I want to talk about if we have the time.
Go ahead. No, go for it. Let's talk about it now.
Okay. So I really enjoyed your podcast on budgeting and stuff.
The Money Talks.
It was Money Talks, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that was really good. I agreed with a lot of that. Dave Ramsey came along when I was about 38, so it kind of warmed my heart to see that what he was saying. I don't really read him,
right?
But man, it just really reinforced what I was doing anyway.
Right.
So I was 38. I had a brain at that point, right?
Yes. And as you hear from his show, a lot of people don't. And a lot of people are just never educated.
Taught, right?
It's not spoken in the home. It's just, you grow up, you graduate high school, and then there you go. You're supposed to understand everything that you're supposed to be on the right path.
Right. So I came upon some reading when I was about 30. My wife and I implemented these things, and it's worked for us very well. Now, when it comes to my clients, we very definitely let them know, hey, let's plan for all year. Let's plan for you to get the perfect amount on your net paycheck, because that ties into budgeting. And one of the things we do is write down everything, right down to the last Snicker bar that we have.
Mm-hmm.
If you write it down, then you can be successful. Does Dave say that?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
No,
He did
he beats it.
Well, he
a pulp.
the documentation is
budget.
he really pushes as far as you need to account for every cent.
Yeah.
So that's what he really.
He always says. If
yeah.
you I even wrote it down in my other notebook this week. There was something he wrote about either you're controlling your money or it's controlling you.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of people who request that of us, but there's also a lot who don't. We try to suggest that, hey, let's do this together. Let's write it down. My favorite saying is, a budget written down is not jail. Okay? It's not like you can't go to the movies or to Disneyland or anything.
Right.
It is just in your budget.
Right.
It's in your entertainment is in your budget, just like
Yes.
the car payment.
Exactly. I was going to say you can easily add that. People think, I have to do without. No, put it in if you want to go to Disneyland. If you want to go there, put it in the budget. And that doesn't mean you get to go maybe that day. Maybe it's going to take you 4 or 5 pay periods to get there, but eventually you will.
Right. And before we lose your audience on budgeting stuff, I just want to say that the biggest failure about a budget is that you don't budget for the contingencies. Like, you're going to have car insurance and it comes in September. Budget all 12 months, put it in the budget for 12 months. You're going to have to repair that vehicle.
Right.
So put it in there. And then there's the entertainment that's in there. Just everything's in there. Now, it doesn't have to be as stringent as me saying every last Snickers bar, but just as good as you can, you would write it down and you would keep to it. Now, of course, in the marriage thing, you and your wife, if you do have a maid, you have to agree to everything that's on the budget.
Absolutely.
And stick to it. But there's some things in there that are fun. It's the entertainment.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. It's the entertainment budget.
Yeah. Now, so going back to taxes then, in order to execute that budget, you need to know the exact amount of money you have to use in that monthly budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that for everybody. I tell them, okay, this is your income. This is your paycheck. You're claiming 1. They're taking too much out just because you want a refund. No, let's make sure your budget's fine by claiming 3.
Yes.
Or whatever it takes. We project all the time.
Okay.
Because that puts more money into your pocket. That's what you're saying.
To execute your budget.
Execute the budget.
Yeah.
Right.
Invariably, I think, after I see people who are really happy with their refund, $3,000 or $4,000, I think that's such a free amount of money that they didn't feel like they earned. They just go blow that.
Yeah.
Better to have that $3,000 during the year and put it to proper things, to the planned things that you want to do. So that's how it goes back to taxes. There's a lot of folks who send me their paycheck stubs on June 30th.
Wow.
So that I can project for the year. Oh, a lot of folks.
Yeah.
Not 2,400 because I haven't converted everybody. But I'm such a busy person at that time, and it's excellent. Where I used to have one shot at them, tax time. Now they just, we have a year-long relationship. So that's what I wanted to say about budgeting and about how taxes help folks.
Yeah, awesome. So also too, I know like to your point where you're there more than once a year. When we bought our house, we had to get our tax information, we had to get our financial records in order. So you were there. We emailed you. We said, "Hey, Steve, this is what we need in the last couple years of taxes. Can you shoot that over to us?" And boom, it appears. So it's not just a one-hit wonder with ProTax Associates. You're able to have year-round service, questions, comments, adjustments. Maybe something happened, during the year and said, "Hey, you know what, Steve? This we didn't count on this. Can I come back in and adjust?" You guys are there for those type of things.
Yes.
So I want to take a second to kind of give you guys the information of where to reach Steve. And you can go to ProTaxAssociates.com. That's their website. You can actually book an appointment there online.
Yes,
it's really cool. He showed me. You just go in and pick the date, pick the time, pick who you want to see. Obviously, you are a very busy man, so you have your slots that are open, and then you have others that are, if you're not open, they can help and assist for a time that's convenient for your clients.
Correct.
We also have the number 626-858-2340. I'm going to say that one more time, 626-858-2340. ProTax Associates, they'll be able to handle everything you need for this upcoming tax season.
And tell everyone where your office is located so that way they can plan for that.
Right. It's on Roland Street in Covina. It is 376 East Roland Street. Hopefully Covina is close by to you where you're listening from right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
However, I do a lot of long distance people.
Yeah.
There was people who in California who moved to Florida, and they still send me their stuff.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
New York, Arizona, of course,
Oh, love
Yeah.
it.
Colorado, just everywhere.
Wow.
So,
One of our friends that she doesn't go in. She just emails you all
Right.
the information, and then you guys take care of it from there.
Mhm.
So
yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was somebody that you guys have sent.
Yeah.
in
Mhm,
the past.
mhm. Yeah, her and I were chatting about that this week.
Yeah.
I was telling her, I'm like, now, and I said, now
Nice.
it's tax time. I said, our appointment's coming up. I'm going to be in the crunch to gather all the receipts and get everything written out for Steve. And she's like,
Yeah.
I don't even go into the office anymore.
yeah.
I know who you're speaking of. We don't have to mention her
Yes,
name. But
yes.
yeah, it's all good. It's definitely good.
Okay, so
that's
let's talk
funny.
about some of the things that the people are right now are not taking advantage of. What are some of the things that either from a tax perspective or a financial perspective that they're not taking advantage of that you feel that they should be?
I can speak from personal experience on the things that I've taken advantage of because it's kind of another myth, perhaps, that where the government has said and the media has picked this up that if you save, you will be so well off when you're retired. Because we have the vehicles,
Right.
the tax laws are in place
Okay.
to save this amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
and you will. It's a no-brainer. It's automatic. It's inevitable. Whatever you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're talking about is the laws regarding 401k.
Oh, okay.
know?
Okay.
And of course, if you can't participate in a 401k, there are IRAs. Now, I can write on a chalkboard or a whiteboard about how good it is, but let me just explain very quickly with one example.
Okay.
Because you shelter money and it's tax-free, you are saving the taxes related to the tax bracket you're in. So let's take a middle-class family, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that their marginal tax rate is 22% and 9% for the state.
Okay.
And soon as you put $1,000 away, you just saved 33% of that. That's $300, right?
Yes.
People talk about return on investment like they say, I've got some money to invest. I want to put it in Home Depot and I hope it grows 6%.
Mm-hmm.
This investment in a 401k grows by 33%, right? 22% federal or 31%, 9% state. You have automatic growth.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So over time,
Mhm.
when boys get a brain, they start to do this,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's a little bit of money. If you started at 30, by the time you're 60, you do have options. I don't want to work anymore. I hate this job. I have this money.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can go to 65 if you like, whatever. But
Right.
as you're investing and your income goes up some and you invest a little more, you
Mhm,
have these
mhm.
goals of a percentage, it really, really grows. The best thing about that, and I believe this is kind of my personal opinion and people have disagreed with me, is when you have a mortgage and you saving taxes because you have a home,
Right.
Yeah.
that money is gone to the bank. Well, cool, you have to do it. You live in a home.
Right.
When you invest in your 401k,
Mm-hmm.
that money is not gone and you have the same tax savings,
Right.
right? You have your tax bracket.
makes sense.
Tax savings. I hope that's
Yeah.
not being too obscure about tax brackets and
Mhm.
stuff.
No.
Suffice it to say, the Home Depot example is called like a return on investment, okay?
Okay.
Or rate of return.
Mhm.
You'd be so excited if you picked a stock that made you 6%.
Right.
When you choose to put in your 401k, it makes you 22%. Now, there's still some companies who match you.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my gosh, now you're making
Right.
Right.
70% because they're matching you by half. A lot
Wow.
of companies, unfortunately, are getting away from matching.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes.
still, it's up to you anyway. You
Mhm.
want to have a very good nest egg when you're gone. Not when you're gone, I'm sorry. Yeah, when you're gone from work,
you're
when
gone
you're
from work.
retired. And it truly does gives you options to retire a bit early if you do so. Now, bless my client's heart, they listen and they do a lot of it. They go ahead and even increase their percentages. You know, a good goal would be 15%, but heck, no, you got to buy a burrito sometimes. So maybe you're only doing 5%.
Yeah.
We are not going to judge you. All we can do, and it's a great feeling that we can educate people when we hit them at tax time. You know, we see them once, we can educate them.
Yes.
And then they go away and we feel really good. All of us, you know, all the preparers are really, really experienced. My daughter, my son-in-law, my nephew.
It is really a family.
It's a family operation.
Affair, yeah.
Thing. So, but when they do, I'm sorry, I yelled there.
No, you're fine.
You're passionate.
I am passionate about this one.
They have to understand how important this is.
Yes.
It is quite important. And then there's somebody saying right now, shut up, Steve. I have to put gas in my car. Yes, okay. Little steps, baby steps. Get in a habit. I was with a 24-year-old adjunct professor. She's doing so good. 24 years old, she's going to start this, and it's going to be slow. She doesn't have a lot of income yet as an adjunct professor, but this habit is going to grow and stick with you.
Right.
It is so important. Just think about return on investment, and it's huge, okay? One more objection maybe to a 401k is, okay, well, I'm 65, and now I have to take it out. I'm going to be taxed on it. First of all, you take advantage of the standard deduction. So some of that money will never be taxed, even though it was going to be taxed in 2020.
Okay.
It's never going to be taxed because you have standard deductions to subtract from some of this income. And then secondly, you don't need as much, or your income is lower because you get to control it.
Right.
Right.
Hopefully by that time the house is paid off and your expenses aren't as high, right?
As you're working, you want a good income, you know, and you can control that income only slightly. You're going to pay a lot of tax on it, so shelter some of it.
Yeah.
And then as you're older, you don't need as much, so you take out an amount where you don't reach a certain marginal tax rate. You're paying at 15%. So there is a huge savings. And of course, it's just the options that it gives you to leave.
Absolutely.
Right, to have choices.
To have choices.
So if someone can't put into a 401k, they don't have it offered by work, do you like to recommend an IRA or a Roth IRA? Because I know there's two differences in taxes as you put into them.
Yes.
So what is your favorite recommendation for someone who's maybe just getting started, doesn't have much, but they know they want to do something? Which one would you recommend? What
I'd like to see now is a mix. It sounds like a cop-out, but if you do 1,000 in a regular IRA and 1,000 in a Roth, that would be pretty darn excellent, because then
a year, 1,000 a year,
1,000 a year,
to start,
yeah.
And even that may seem like a lot to some of your listeners. So what? Just do less, but do something. And the reason I say that is because now you're going to have further options. Roths came about 20 years after probably traditional.
Oh, okay.
Okay. When the Roth money comes out when you're 65, it's tax-free. So that's a cool thing.
Right.
But if you're in a high tax bracket now, a traditional helps you right now. And it's all about that return on investment again.
Okay.
The rate of return. So I don't recommend that everybody just does a straight Roth. I'd rather have them save some taxes right now.
Okay.
So that's a good question. And that's what I would like to see, is half and half. If you feel like you want to have tax-free money at 65 and pay the taxes right now.
Right. Pay the taxes now if you can.
So a good client for that would be somebody who's in a lower tax bracket where the rate of return is not as effective. I was saying 30%, but what if you're in a 10% tax bracket? It doesn't help that much. It does help invariably, but you know, a Roth would be good at that point too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think when it comes to a lot of this stuff, you know, we talk about the cost of living, and you know, maybe some don't have it as much as others as far as the room. But I kind of want to challenge that a little bit, because we talked about that on the finances piece, the episode. Maybe you don't have room, but maybe there is room where you think that there's not room. Meaning, like,
absolutely, your phone plan.
Your phone plan. Do you have to have that unlimited? Do you have to go to Starbucks, you know, 3 times a week, you know?
The biggest eating out is such a budget buster. And if you will just save your receipts of 1 month the times you ate out, whether that be fast food or like a sit-down restaurant, you could find
whatever
a
it is. It doesn't have to be food.
To
it's that hobby. Maybe you like to, you know, do this or that.
Maybe it's the brewery.
Yeah, maybe it's something else that you like to do every once in a while that you think, oh, it's every once in a while. But when you look back at it, you're like, I'm spending $300 a month over here.
Right.
I'm spending, and at that point, when you're going to Starbucks 2-3 times a week, you're talking, $60, $70, $100 a month that you could be spending at Starbucks that should be going to
that you could be saving for your future, for your children.
Right.
Yeah, it was great in your Money Talks podcast where you were giving examples of saving $20. Yes.
Yeah, $20 helps.
Oh my goodness! And guess when you realize that? When you've written down your budget.
Exactly.
Yes, I was going to say,
we just went through that with our insurance.
That's when you see it, because I was going over the budget for the year as I was talking about. I'm like, okay, my goal is to eliminate debt, right? My bucket list now is to go to Nashville and do the debt-free scream with Dave Ramsey.
Oh.
But I don't want to do it until it's something that he does on his show. He has every episode, he has a couple or a family or a person that's there in his studio. They talk about how much debt they've paid off, and then they do a big scream and we're debt-free.
We're debt-free.
There with him. It's really cool. I just talked about this last week and I was crying then and I'm crying now. So that's an amazing goal that I have, but I told Artie I don't want to do it until we pay off the house. So that's definitely a long-term goal that we're going to be working towards. But as I was working on, okay, how can I throw more to what we're trying to pay down? I started going over everything in the house and I said, oh, I haven't kind of gone over our insurance, our homeowners insurance, our car insurance. I'm like, I feel like we pay a lot of money on this. So got a quote and we're going to be saving close to $1,000 by the switch I made.
Yeah, the switch. And a lot of that is, because our cars are older.
Yes.
Right. We have cars
too.
They've come down in value. So they're depreciating. Everyone thinks that the car is great. Yes, it is. But it's a liability because you're just paying out. There's no money to be made in a car. Right. As soon as you drive it off the lot, it just drops significantly in value. So we have older cars to help with the budget. And now that we have cars that have hit a certain value, it's no longer smart for us to keep a full coverage on the insurance. It's no longer smart for us to have this certain type of coverage on it because the value just isn't there. And it's just a car. I know we all love our cars, right? We love it.
We need them.
We feel good.
Very dependent on them.
And I am one of those
where we live. It's important. We can't just walk everywhere.
We exactly. But at the same time, you got to keep yourself in check. And we'll say it again. Don't spend money you don't have on things you don't need to impress people you don't even know. Okay. So that's one of the things that we did just to take a look at, to see where the room is. And even if that answer is no, we don't have any room or we don't want to cut there, at least you are aware of exactly where your money is going.
How much you're actually spending on that. And sometimes it is a sacrifice, that when we were trying to get into our home, we sacrificed a lot. We cut the cable. It was
which we're really close to doing again.
Netflix
just
only.
Because it's money.
We don't use it at this point. We got it for football. That's the only reason why we have cable TV, is to be able to watch
like football. I got to put it in the budget.
So
Football's in the budget.
Do I really need to pay for this every month? We have Disney Plus and Netflix now.
Yeah,
so
so
it's like,
we just watch a bunch of movies and the kids are watching Disney Plus all day. I don't even watch anything else on the TV because I'm not allowed to, because the kids are wanting to watch Frozen for the 50 millionth time. So, we're thinking about, well, just cut the cable. There's no, and there's $50 right there we can save for the month.
I think there's something to say in that, and that there's a huge benefit and learning to accept that delayed gratification. We live in a very right now, I need the satisfaction now, that's on my phone now, I want to buy it now, I want it delivered now. That's the world we live in. But learning to be able to put that aside for a little bit, like you and I did. Like I said, when we were wanting to buy the house, cable gone, Disney passes gone, eating out gone, pretty much everything was gone, because we had a big goal. And then once you reach it, you're like, it was so easy to do, what would you rather do all those things, or be able to come home to a property that you own for you and for your family, that no one's going to take from you unless you don't pay the bill, that no one's going to change your rent on you. No one's going to come in and tell you what to do in that space, because you have worked hard, you made the sacrifice, you earned that privilege for that to be all your own. It's huge.
It's great stuff.
It is a bit of delayed gratification, but also it's so critical that you're not destitute when you're 65.
Right.
You know, you do have to plan for that. Your kids are going to have their own families. They may be college educated, well off, and they have their own priorities at that time. So you still, it's really critical to take care of yourself, to plan for yourself. That crockpot commercial that says "set it and forget it."
Oh yeah.
That's what I think about when we're setting up a plan for taxes. Forget it. That's not a part of any stress in your marriage because you've set it already.
Yes.
Right.
You set the budget, including together,
Right.
including entertainment, Disney Channel, whatever.
Yep.
And then you can forget it. Guess what? That's two things that aren't giving you stress on your marriage anymore.
Absolutely.
You're not arguing about it. It's now the other things.
Yeah.
Like your spaghetti's cold.
Yeah.
Or something.
Now everything else can be added to the fight list, but not that, right?
Exactly.
Not the money, not the taxes. So as we're getting ready to wrap up, what are some of the things that you want people to understand going into tax season? Maybe be ready for some changes that might be a little scary. I know last year when we were in with you, you went over a lot of things with us that had changed because of what happened in the White House.
Right.
Right. The rules changed last year, and that was a huge educational opportunity and a little stress on us. Last year, my hair was black, and now it's white forever. Luckily, there isn't any changes this year yet. I think some of the rules that are in place are a bit draconian, so they're going to change those if another administration comes in.
Okay.
Got it.
And then here we go again, re-educating people and stuff. But for the most part, my clients have talked to me during the year and know what to bring in and what to do. So it was last year that was quite a problem. Now this year it should be fine.
Okay.
So I don't know if I answered that question very well for you, but.
Oh, well, the change is that there is no change that we really
Correct.
need to worry about, with the exception of the law that we already talked about just coming in this year. So that's great stuff.
That's for independent contractors, by the way. All my ICs have to know about this law that has come in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So every year you provide a service free of charge to folks, and I think it's amazing. Can you kind of talk about what we have this year and then what we've done in the past that we may see again in the future?
Sure. We've been very blessed at our office, 33 years strong. We always want to give back to the community or to our clients. So we decided that at 1 year, the very first year, we did every educator's taxes for free. They didn't have to be new clients. They didn't have to be current clients, any new teacher who came. And that was tremendous. We did probably 200 teachers for free.
Oh,
Wow.
that's awesome.
So that was so fulfilling for us. So, so gratifying, I guess is the word. The next year we did every nurse for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
The next year we did every military veteran for free. And that was a biggie. A lot of veterans came because it wasn't just the current wars. It was all the way. I had a World War II veteran.
Awesome.
A whack.
Oh my
A whack.
goodness.
I had a whack, and she brought me a newspaper clipping of when they all went home.
Oh
Wow.
That was
my
good.
goodness.
So-
wow.
So that year was very gratifying. A whole bunch of veterans from Vietnam, from everywhere, and they just wanted to bring me stuff, wanted to pay me. No, okay. So we didn't. So
Oh, that is so fantastic.
yeah. So then after veterans, it was firefighters.
Okay.
So now this year, it's every restaurant server is going to get free tax returns from us.
That is
Awesome.
awesome.
They are
That
already
is
booking.
a tough job.
We always try to identify the toughest jobs out there.
Right.
The servers, the nurses, the educators, right?
Yes,
Next,
absolutely.
The stay-at-home moms. Can I put in for stay-at-home moms?
That's our vote is for stay-at-home moms.
I'm gonna throw that in there to be discussed.
Somebody always suggests something like that, Anyway, so we're excited about the servers. They don't believe us, but we give them a little fact sheet that we've been doing. Nurses and teachers and veterans, and so they're coming around and they're booking.
Awesome.
So speaking of booking really quick, is you do need to book pretty soon. You guys are in already.
Yes.
Do you know that for me, every Saturday in the tax season is already booked?
Wow.
Every Saturday. You can catch me on the other days. And of course, you can catch all of my other preparers who are
Right.
very, very experienced. They have some room. Although their Saturdays are building up too, because that's a popular day.
Right.
Right.
Weekend, everyone gets
Yeah.
in.
Back to servers. There's no catch we're going to just thank them for being a server. There's absolutely no catch, whether they're current servers, current clients that we have, or new ones.
Yeah.
And it's out there. We're telling people. So
awesome.
That is fantastic.
Well, I'm going to say it one more time where to get in contact with ProTax Associates. It's at ProTaxAssociates.com. You can head over right now to book your appointment. I would say book it right. Leave the podcast right now. Go book it and then come back and finish it.
There's a button that says book now in case they can't see it there.
Online. It's there. I have utilized the service many times before.
If we don't like to use the web, you can contact by phone at 626-858-2340. Again, 626-858-2340. I want to thank Steve Castro for coming over this week to talk about something that, is it the fun?
Inevitable. It's inevitable, right? It's two things in life: death and taxes.
Death and taxes.
Oh, yeah.
Is it the most fun to talk about? No, it's not the most fun, but
it doesn't
it's
have
so
to
important.
Be deadly when you go in.
Exactly.
Right?
And it doesn't have to be a bore either. We've come out with you with some great information, some laughs. So we hope you enjoyed it. Again, want to thank Steve. Yeah, one more thing for you.
I did want to say one more thing. Is let me just put out to you in your honor, you guys. I would love to have anyone listening to this podcast come in and give them a discount of 10%. Okay?
Oh, there you go.
10%
awesome.
Discount for anyone who mentions your podcast.
A kiss like yours.
And it's not just me. My associates will honor that, of course.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
There you go, guys. No reason not to get your taxes done at ProTax.
Exactly.
This year.
All right, I think that's going to do it for us this week. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Thanks for making us a part of your day.